Hello everyone, I am Punyakirti BL. Welcome to my Python for Generative AI learning series. In this series, we are focusing on Python basics that will help us to build a strong foundation for implementing generative AI concepts. So let's dive in and start today's session. Today's topic is working with CSV files in Python. Let's learn to read and process data for AI. So let's start with introduction. When working in areas like data science, machine learning, generative AI, or analytics, you will constantly deal with data that needs to be stored, shared, and processed. One of the simplest and most commonly used formats for this purpose is the CSV file. In this lesson, we will explore what CSV files are, why they are so widely used, how to read data from CSV files in Python, how Python's built-in CSV module makes this process easy. By the end, you will be comfortable loading CSV data and preparing it for further analysis or use in AI workflows. So let's understanding CSV files. So what is CSV? CSV stands for comma separated values. It stores data in table-like structure using plain text. Each line represents a row. Each value in the row is separated by comma. Why CSV files are matter? CSV files are extremely popular because they can be opened by almost any software like Excel, Google Sheets, databases, Python, or etc. They are lightweight and easy to read. They work well for large datasets. For example, imagine you are building a music recommendation system. For each song, a user listens to details like song name, artist, genre, mode. Maybe these details saved in CSV file. That CSV file can then be used by your model to learn user preferences. So let's start understanding how to read CSV file in Python. To work with CSV data in Python, we use the built-in module called CSV. What is a module? First, we can understand a module is a collection of reusable code. You can think of it as a toolbox. Instead of writing everything from the scratch, you import ready-made tools. For example, here we are importing CSV as a module. You can see this. I am importing and running. It is successfully imported. Now, this line brings in Python's CSV handling tools to our notebook. So, let's understand opening a CSV file safely. Python provides the open function to access files. We already know open function is used to read text files in our previous sessions. Now, we are using with open model.logs.csv. This is the file name in the read mode as CSV file. Let's see in my notebook what happens. I have already loaded model logs CSV, and if I see the data, you are able to see the CSV data is the table struct data. These are rows and these are columns. Now what I will do, I will close this. Let's read the data. How to read? Here with open model logs.csv or as CSV file. So R means read only mode. Using with open ensures that the file closes automatically, preventing resource issues. This is just one line. I will copy and put it in my code. So when we do this, we can't run because only we opened the file, but we didn't do any performance here. So actions, other functionalities, that how to read. Using the CSV reader, after opening the file, we create a reader. See here, reader is equal to CSV.reader. We are specifying the CSV file. The reader object lets us loop through the CSV row by row. Let's read this and print what the reader type, how it will look like. What is that object? First, what I will do, I will print reader object. Then let's try to understand what type of object is this. So when I run, able to see it is CSV reader and the object look like CSV reader object at this is the address of the CSV reader where it is created. That is done. Now how the reader works. Each row is returned as a list of strings. For example, if a row contains these values, it might appear in the Python as like this. How to handle this? For row in reader, print row. Okay. So we already have opened the file and reader is created, loop through the reader row by row and we can print the row. Now we are able to see. So first is header rows and remaining are values with the rows with list of values. Let's try check each of the row is of type which data. whether it is string or integer. It is all the list of type values we are getting. That's why we are getting the print. Now we understood type of the data we got. This prints all the rows one by one. This is especially useful for checking what's the inside the file. Then converting data types like this. CSV data is always read as strings. If you need numbers, for example, to calculate average, convert them into like this: int row of 0, float row of 1. Okay. Next topic is skipping the header row like epoch, accuracy loss. These are header rows for us. So most CSV will start with header row, a row containing column names. To ignore this first line during the process, use next header. So what I am doing, this moves the pointer to the next line, so your loop only process actual data. So we learned how to open a file, how to print the data, how to, so overall we can putting into everything together. For example flow, here's the simplified version of the complete flow. Import the module first, then open the CSV file, create a CSV reader, skip the header if it is optional, look through the rows and process them. So what I will do, anyway we already said, let's try to see we have data, right? I will skip and later we can go for each and every value. Now we can see this is data we have. So before going to here, what I will do, next reader I will add. Now you are able to see, if I comment, headers will be visible. If I add this, it will start from the only values. This we completed. Now inside this, what we need to add, so epoch. So epoch is equal to int of row. We are converting them into integer float and printing the values. Now what we are doing inside the row, rather than printing like this, what I am doing, converting them into particular data and handling that one. So why we are doing this one, in the first row we are getting headers, right? That will be in the string type. To avoid that, we skipped them using next reader and we are handling. When we run this, now we are able to find. Before, when we run the data, it is showing as a string. Now it is converted into floating and integers respectively. All data is printed. This is how we can read the data from the CSV using CSV module. This type of workflow is very common in AI project, especially when analyzing training logs or preparing datasets. Let's wrap up. In this lesson, you learned what CSV files are and why they are widely used, how to import and use Python CSV module, how to safely open a file in read mode, how to loop through rows of data, how to skip the header row, why converting values from strings to numbers is important. These skills form the foundation for working with real-world datasets, whether you are preparing training data for a model or analyzing logs from the model performance. Let's quick recap. By the end of this lesson, learners will be able to explain the purpose and structure of CSV files, load CSV data using Python's CSV module, access data row by row, skip headers and convert values for numerical analysis, prepare CSV data for future machine learning or analytics tasks. So, thank you for watching today's session. This is part of Python for Generative AI learning series. I am Punyakirti BL. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Also, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. The link is in the description. See you in the next session. Thank you.